Hello and welcome to the Far From Normal Radio Show with your hosts Jay Moss, Bud Vino, and Jesse Weiner. Well, hello, and welcome to the Far From Normal Radio Show. This is Jay Moss, your host, and I'm going to go ahead and try and bring in my co-host this evening, Mr. Bud Vino. Bud, how are you doing this evening?
Yo, and yo, money, Jay Moss. September 19th, 2017, Tuesday. Here we are again on Cloud 9. And as you know, Jay, if there was a Cloud 10, this boy is sitting on it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. If you can see me, that's a wonderful thing, or it isn't, one or the other. Thank you, everybody, for joining us again. And thanks to Jay for the awesome intro, as usual. Love that, dude. It's about trust, loyalty, integrity, and honesty. And I got it with that boy. And we also have it with our cohort, the one that makes us complete. That's Jerry Maguire. Well, actually, this is Jerry Maguire that says it. He hasn't said it to him. You complete us, Jesse Weiner. Welcome back, baby.
Hey guys,
how you doing, Jesse?
Back. I feel like I've been gone forever.
It does.
Yes.
It does. And I have to say, real quick, I asked Jay. I said, in our technical person, Ted Fogg, said, guys, do you want me to wear the glasses? Jay said you could, and I figured I'd wear them in the intro because I didn't want people to not know who I was. But I think at this point, I'll lose them. Feels better looking at all you guys like that. Love you guys, and welcome, Jesse. I know you've had some hard times. It's good to have you back. I know you went through all the stuff last week and the weather, and you just beat it, and you're coming out on top as usual. We love you. Welcome back.
Absolutely.
I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, and we're so glad to have you back. Obviously, you know, you've encountered a lot with the hurricanes in Florida. Can you tell us a little bit about what you experienced there? Because obviously you've had power outages and everything else.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we were hunkered down in our home. We did not evacuate. We don't live in a manufactured home or anything. We live in, a sturdy, home. We stayed here, and the wind started picking up on Sunday, and then all of a sudden, Sunday night, we were out of power. We just out of power. Everything in our house, refrigerator went bad. It's terrible. Hundreds of dollars worth of food is ruined. Luckily, God's grace, he was looking over our home, and our home was not damaged at all. The majority of our quote-unquote damage was what was ruined in our house and our fridge, and then some yard damage. We were very, 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 very lucky. But just, good Lord looked over us. We stayed at my sister's house for a couple of days, and then came home. I think we played every board game in our home over the week.
Yeah, Jesse, we saw that. I just want to say, I think I saw Monopoly is the one picture, the screenshot that Jay and I might have seen. So, and hey, my wife is big into Monopoly. I refuse to play it because she beats me every time and then gloats. But go ahead.
Yeah. I will tell you, you guys know, I'm a social worker. I know a lot about the brain. A child's brain has to be stimulated every 6 seconds, which is amazing when you really think about it. 6 seconds, and then
mine is
5
4
days.
For me.
Yeah, 5 days of electricity. We spent a lot of time together as a family, and let me tell you, it was great. No video games, no,
awesome.
phone at the fingertips, no YouTube and Twitter and Snapchat and all the latter. And it was really, really nice just having family time.
No,
that's what it's all about. It is, man. That's what it's all about. It's funny as you get older. Sometimes we'll have storms and things like that, and I'll hope for the power to go for that exact reason. It makes you kind of go back to your roots. You sit there in the dark under candlelight, and you talk about things, and you do things, and you know what? You get closer. That's how you get closer, and that's how it's done. And that's how it's done. Instead of looking at the negative, you guys ran with the positive, and you pulled out of it awesome things. So it's great that you guys were pretty much unscathed. If there is a God, thank you to her or him. And to your family and everybody out there. I mean, I'm just really thankful and to see the people that are pulling together and and still, overcoming like you and your husband and your whole family. It's amazing. You guys are a blessing.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's true.
I will tell you, there was a very, very, very dark side to people that I saw during the storm. Very selfish, very self-centered, very nasty and evil and just self-serving. Man, if there's any kind of advice I can give anybody that they would just listen to for 1 second is try and be freaking kind, man. Try and extend just a bit of kindness, because being kind, it's difficult, but it's very easy. And kindness is one thing we were lacking in this storm, and I honestly was very disgusted by it.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the human condition being what it is, unfortunately, a lot of human beings are opportunists. And you see it. You see, as much as you do see the greatness in people, you see the underbelly of society as well, and that's unfortunate. But you persevere, and that's what Jesse's doing, and your family and everybody else. It is unfortunate. I'll definitely acknowledge that, because I've seen it too. It's disheartening, but you just keep rolling and doing what's right from right here, and hopefully people will follow suit. If not, you just roll.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we're going to get to some great updates tonight. Obviously,
with
the Million Parent March.
Birthday list and everything else. I forgot. Yeah, we just got so into it that I forgot we were at the start of the show.
Yeah, we are. And, we have some technical difficulties. So when you see me on the screen here and I'm talking, I do have a cell phone on because evidently we use different programs, and evidently the program that we're using for the video decided to eat up my microphone. And it's taking the power, and so now the Blog Talk is taking my cell phone to operate.
Well, Jay,
so that's why.
You just screwed up. See, I told Jay, Jay is showing his honesty here, because I said, Jay, don't worry about it. Put the phone up and you'll just look more important. I told him to get a home phone, even one that doesn't work, and put it up to the other ear and maybe have somebody else in there holding things and microphones and things like that. So, but Jay shows his honesty. He let the cat out of the bag. And but that's the truth. And we got to I want to quickly, too, and I know everybody does, thank Ted Fox. Ted has worked tirelessly. And when I say tirelessly, I've been talking to Ted since, I think 5:30 this morning was the first message, and he got back to me pretty quickly. I know Ted had a hell of a drive from Washington, and we're going to get into the Million Parent March. I know Ted came from there, and there's some people that did some great things out there. Ted's saying hello. We're going to get into that right now. And again, thank you to Ted. I mean, I'm talking all day. And he did it and you know what the great thing of it is about people don't know behind the scenes about Jay and I? Jay and I have different dynamics and energies, and we're usually pretty calming. There's certain aspects Jay and I don't know, and Ted's very calming. There's a respect level between the three of us. He's very calming. He's very confident, and he's got it done. The glitch was an unseen glitch, an unforeseen glitch that you wouldn't have known until we got on, and that'll be worked out. So thank you to Ted. It's amazing, and I hope everybody likes this new chef. It seems to be working pretty well. I'm loving it, like McDonald's.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and get to our first guest without further ado, because I think we've got some people calling in tonight, and I want to get them as soon as I possibly can. So
and I know
if you are out there, if you are out there,
let's go do that.
Yeah, we'll try and do that one a little bit later. But I want to get right to the calls. So I want to get to. Let's see here, 0977, which I believe is Mr. Mark Ludwig. Mark, how are you doing this evening?
Doing great. I don't know if you can hear me with the music in the background.
Oh.
Can you hear me okay?
Can hear you.
Yeah.
Can hear you great,
yeah, we sure
Mr.
can.
Ludwig. Yeah.
All right.
What an honor.
I'm finally getting my breakfast here in D.C. and a little Mexican restaurant. I literally haven't eaten all day.
Well, get something to eat, and I'll preface while you shove some food in your face, Mr. Ludwig. I want to preface by saying, when we were going to have people on, this is very genuine. The first person that Jay and I, it was pretty much instantaneous, the both of us said Mark Ludwig, in terms of someone that we wanted to get on first to set the tone, someone that's doing positive, amazing things. And as I said to my wife, I've said to Jay, I said to Ted Fogg earlier when we were going over things, you're a very calming presence because of your genuineness. Your genuine love. I love watching you. And I said to Jay, there's a lot of people in this world that I want to meet, and some that you think that I would, and I don't care. You're one of them that I would like to. someday shake your hand because you're so out there in terms of what you do, and it's always consistent because it's genuine. And you're a benefit to this entire movement. I'm honored to know you. Thank you so much for being the first one on. This is the way to do it. Thank you, Mr. Ludwig. We're honored. All right, and now are you in the middle of? Are you in the middle of chewing? See, I stopped it quick, and I said, go ahead and shovel your face. And then I said, okay, what do you think? So, got you, put you on the spot. Hopefully you swallow it.
Well, thanks, guys. It's an honor to be on. Like I said, I think quite a bit of you guys, too, and all the efforts that you guys do. That's the neat thing. It takes everybody, everybody's, contributing different types of resources, the way God's giving them different blessings, and it's just kind of neat the way everybody comes together.
Yeah, I concur, Mr. Ludwig. I say that all the time. Run with your strength. It's certain people have gifts, and certain people have things where their energies they've got a lot of passion for. And we've talked about Jay and yourself. You do the law aspect of it. Jay has a passion. I say go with your passions where you're going to really, and what I try and nurture that, and then as you said, everybody goes with their strengths, and collectively that's how you quote unquote win.
Hey, I know that you were out there talking to some different people out there, some legislators, and I'm going to try and take my headphones off, obviously, because I'm getting a little bit of a feedback there. But, I wanted to definitely discuss a lot of what has gone on and transpired with you, because I've noticed when I see the live feeds out there, you are actually out there talking to the legislators, trying to get some things accomplished, build relationships, and that's really what it's all about, is starting to build those relationships to get things done. So can you kind of let us in on a little bit of what you've done already?
Yes, I didn't expect to make this much progress in 2 days, but I'm so excited. I don't know if I'm going to sleep tonight. It was a home run, way better than, and I've been here around the legislative process for 30 years. Now, I'm just telling you, these last 2 days could not have gone any better. And I don't know if you had heard, but in the past I talked about the fact that I wanted to start with statewide legislation just because it's so much easier to get that done. Not that it's easy, but normally statewide you're looking at maybe 2 to 5 years. Federal, you're usually looking at minimum 7 to as long as 10, if you can even get it done. It's such a behemoth. And,
so you were telling us federally you were pleasantly surprised, Mr. Ludwig, is what I'm feeling.
Unbelievably. So I put out a Facebook Live. If everybody didn't mind watching it after you get, not during this show, but after the show's over. But
thank you.
Everything. I believe in my heart that, I don't know if everybody's going to understand it or not, but that was probably the single most important Facebook Live I've ever done in my life up to this point.
Mr. Ludwig, is that the one? I do want to give you a shout out for that. I believe it's the one, the last time I checked, it had somewhere around like 14,000 views. I think that
I believe it. This is one I just did a couple hours ago, and I think I think I did it at 5:30 Eastern time. So I don't think it's gotten that much exposure yet. That's why I said if you guys can watch it, share it.
Well, yeah, if we haven't already, and I know that people in Far From Home, Brenda, people like that, as you're listening, share it, and please share it.
This one literally lays out exactly what's gone up to now, what happened these last 2 days, and why I believe we may be in 3 years or less potentially of attacking Title IV now. So, like I said, if everybody can take the time to watch that, and I apologize, I hate listening to myself. And I know I've heard this guy every week, but please watch that one. There's a lot of information there. I apologize. I didn't get a chance to really write out my thoughts the way I wanted to. I made a few notes. You can see I'm reading from notes, but I just thought I wanted to get this information out while it was fresh in my mind, and I was excited. So, and with the Capitol in the background. So I thought, why don't I hurry and do this now? So
Mr. Ludwig, thank you for apologizing for being unprepared. We'll discuss that off the air, sir. No, just kidding. You're fine. And I love it. Again, I haven't seen it, and again, it's been a busy day, but I implore everybody to watch it. Your videos are really exciting because you can actually tangibly feel your excitement. It's palpable. It's because your excitement is because it's genuine. You see it, and then now to see things escalating beyond what your imagination even saw, and how excited you are. That's how it's done, man. This is great. So, Mr. Ludwig, if I could ask you, what was the overall energy that you saw? Because it seems pretty positive from your direction.
Yeah, I was amazed. Normally at the federal level, and it's a totally different animal than the state level. And I'm not articulate and don't have a mastered English language to think of the words to describe it. But even though it takes a lot of effort to get the statewide legislation passed, it's a totally different league at the federal level. And just even getting to the gatekeeper is impossible to get the door open. And not only did it get open, but I mean, I had people making calls for me and, hey, you need to talk to this person. And matter of fact, let me give you a tip on how you could steer this through a little quicker. And when I came up here, I thought if I could just open maybe 2-3 doors while I'm up here, I'd be happy. Total, I ended up with 12. And
wow.
got 2 more, I can't say who, but tomorrow is probably one of the 10 most influential people in the history, well, not in the history of D.C., but I would say in the last, 20 years, probably one of the most influential people in all of D.C., one of the top 10. This guy has changed more careers, more lives, more legislation, and I'm meeting with him at 10 in the morning. So that's the guy that we need to link up with, because where people think I can open doors, I'm like on a scale of 1 to 100, I'm a 2 on his level. So to get him some tips, and ironically, he and I went to breakfast together 20 years ago. So I've known him for, matter of fact, he actually introduced me to, he took me out to, this is when I was running for U.S. Congress, and he took me out to breakfast one day with a young pollster that had her own polling company. He said, I want you to meet this girl, Kellyanne. She's got a polling company. She's got a lot on the ball. She's going to be going places. And he was kind of helping to take her under his wing. And I didn't even realize until a few months ago, I was watching TV one day, and I saw Kellyanne Conway on TV with Trump, and I got out. I still had her old business card. And at the time, she wasn't married. It was Kellyanne Fitzpatrick. But I pulled out, and sure enough, it was Kellyanne Fitzpatrick. I had her old cell phone number with her polling company. That's Kellyanne Conway, who's Trump's campaign manager. But she got her start with this guy, and they took me out to breakfast 20 years ago. So I said, I'm real excited about tomorrow morning, but doors are opening like I've never seen before. But we need everybody to watch that video because, like I said, I lay out a plan of attack. I'm letting everybody know what to expect, how they can help, how they can please not get in the way. And like I said, I hope that doesn't offend people, but there's just certain times where, just like in playing football, everybody would love to be the quarterback, but there's times when there's one quarterback who's picked, and you've got to play the play that the coach says. And I know everybody wants to help, but this is such a different animal at the federal level. We've got to make sure that people don't, even though I know their heart is right, and I can't imagine anybody intentionally, I'm going to mess this up. So I know their heart is pure, but you've really got to be on your game when you're talking to a face. It's much different. At state levels, I don't mind anybody talking to their legislators. Matter of fact, I encourage it. At the federal level, for right now, I'd actually ask everybody, please don't yet. If you've got a lead, like you've got a personal connection, please give me that lead. Because what I need is personal connections, not, I knew who my legislator is and I know their email because I looked it up on Google. But if you have somebody that, my mom went to high school with my state senator or my federal senator, or, I know this person because I worked on a committee with them. That's what I need, that type of personal relationship. If anybody has connections, please feed them to me. And then even with me, my role in this is sort of the door opener, if you will. And Jeremy Roberts is actually much more of a, I guess as far as dealing with the verbiage of talking to legislators about the actual legislative process, he's even better than me. So even at my skill level, and I hope that doesn't sound arrogant, but I would think I'm pretty high up there as far as the skill level compared to most people in the...
That's not arrogant.
And I just
Mr. Ludwig, that's honest, not arrogant.
And so
that's honestly not arrogant.
At my level, I don't think I'm ready to do that yet. My main goal is to open the door, edify Jeremy, and say, look, so basically as I've been up here, I sort of give him a macro view, if you will, the 20,000-foot view of kind of what's going on, why we need to have a discussion, why there needs to be some change. And then I say, but I'm not here to do that now. I'm mainly here to build a relationship, so you know who I am. You get an idea of our philosophy, how we negotiate, and I'm going to be bringing a team up with me in a couple of months, and I want you to get a chance to meet them, and we're going to talk more in depth. And then we're going to follow up next week. Jeremy, Linda, and Kenneth are putting together a packet of exactly information we want them to know before we meet with them. But like I said, even at my level, I have a role, and I don't go past that role. I'm the door opener. I'm the edifier to set the game plan, and I'm not passing that role at this point. Once I reach that point, I don't take them over the mountain the other side. I cut the meeting off. Hey, thanks so much for meeting with me today. I'll follow up with a thank you email tomorrow to everybody. Follow up with a handwritten card when I get back to St. Louis, and then we move it from there. But the biggest key, if everybody can help get in that database, the AFESP.com website, and that's not to take anything away from any other organization. It's just that one specifically for the statewide legislation and the Title IV.
Yeah, and I'll add to it just to quickly clarify for people that what Mr. Ludwig is talking about too. A lot of times with the state and federal level, it's, I don't want to use it this, it's the state. It's you're trying to get to the federal level. You want to be heard. So at the state level, it's about being heard, making some noise and with integrity. And getting it's almost a sales pitch, so to speak, and getting your foot in the door at a federal level this quick is exciting. So what Mr. Ludwig is saying is out of respect to everybody, it's very much a sales pitch in terms of trust and everything else. So he wants to get all his ducks in a row, and he's respecting everybody's opinions, their input, but direct them in one place, because if these on the federal level, if they're bombarded, it ruins a lot of the credibility, integrity, everything, and there's a lot of hard work. And it's not about egos at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Ludwig is. Mr. Ludwig
is such an important pass that I think we've got one shot at this to do it right. And if we do it right, I think we can get it done in 3 years. But we got one shot to do it right if we're going to do that.
And that is. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jesse, please.
I just wonder, Mark, hi, Jesse Weiner here. I just wondered, are you finding a level of ignorance as far as our legislators in Washington understanding the true effects of Title 40 funding
they have no idea. It's not, they have no idea. If anybody's ever worked around politics, at the state level, it's hard enough, because most state legislators get, depending on the state, but like in Missouri, for instance, those legislators are only in D.C., in Jeff City for 4.5 weeks, or 4.5 months. Mm-hmm. During that 4.5 months, they're going to have between 4,000 and 5,000 ideas for bills thrown at them in 4.5 months, of which at least 1,000 of those are going to be introduced on the floor, at least, on a first read. And so somehow, you got to be the best speed reader in the world to be able to read all those bills and then try and comprehend them. And you're dealing with bills on energy and a budget and health care, and multiply that times 10 at the federal level. It's just, and so these people are, everyone's people are like, well, I want to protest because they're not doing anything in Washington. I dare anybody to spend a week in a senator or a state or a representative's office and watch how much work goes into everything. They just have no clue. And so that's why it's up to us to educate them in a polite way and ask for their help. Most of them, what they say is, hey, this sounds legitimate. It sounds like a great concern. Can you help me out with research? Because we don't have the time to do all the research. But if you can help me out with this point and this point and this point, man, we'd like to lock arms with you. And I'm not exaggerating. Every person that I taught, every single one, I was shocked, because most of them, they're kind of standoffish, because usually what they do in the first round of meetings, they just sort of nod their head and they won't say anything. And then when you leave, they do research. They Google you, they check through Facebook, they find out, okay, is this person legit, before they give you a second meeting, before they open up. I'm telling you, they were opening up. We were already rolling up our sleeves at this first meeting on each of them. And not only that, but they were literally playing because like I said, the goal of every meeting for me is to book another meeting. If I ever walk out of a legislator's office and I don't have somebody else to talk to, in my mind, I lost that meeting. So I always try to play it like a chessboard or a pool table. Hey, who do you know that you think would be? And every one of them, I didn't even have to ask. They were telling me, hey, this person's on the Family Values Committee. You need to talk to them. Hey, this person's on this committee. You need to talk to them. And not only that, but they were giving me, hey, now their chief of staff is this person, but this is the staff member on their staff that's really going to handle this issue. It was just it was beautiful.
Mark, I would love to speak with you. I've actually been speaking with two major players in Congress. One, the first time I spoke with, and I'm very open with him and his assistant, Mike. So Congressman Bill Rackus, he said he kind of looked at me a little crazy. And kind of was like, well, what do you mean the state is making money off of this? What do you mean about Title 40 funding? And he kind of left me hanging in the wind. But the follow-up meeting with him was very good. So I would love to speak with you further about that, because I have 2 congressmen that I've been working with as far as fathers' rights and delegation legislative changes at the U.S. level, federal level. If we can get together and talk about that.
Oh, cool. Yeah, because based on this week, I'm definitely coming up here again. I put a request out for fundraising, and you know, I always hate to do that because I know everybody's so tight, but I'm thinking and like I said, I don't mean to get everybody's hopes up, but I've been around this for 30 years. I have never been so excited about the progress I made in these 2 days. If I can get the funding to get me an airfare and a hotel up here to come back in another month, I'm telling you guys, we are going to get some major movement going.
Well,
so
Mark,
tonight to say, hey,
there's just a definite level of ignorance, and I don't mean ignorance in a bad way.
Right.
I mean just total, you know, not knowing about to what effect, you know, to what reach that Title IV D&E funding is having on our family law system, on the Department of Revenue, on the just overall, you know, trafficking of our children. They don't understand. And by educating, we bring awareness, and by bringing awareness, we bring motivation to change, and in motivation to change, we actually bring that change, and we restore families. We may not be able to restore families as individual homes, but 2 families is better than 1 family and somebody dead. You know, so this is definitely the way to do it, and a 3-year mark, potentially on the easiest end, is amazing. So,
3 years is a spec. Yeah, it's awesome. Yes, thank you, Mark. I'll concur with Jesse. You know, it is amazing, and I'll say this. Let me ask you again. When are you going up there to meet with them again?
I know you said it. I mean, I'm literally tapped out. I'm not giving up because I know everybody's got a story like mine. But I'm driving a car with check engine light on in my car, and I've got so
my point is,
it boils down to can I get the money to get airfare and a hotel up here? If so, I'm up here next month then.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this, Mark. Feel free to call me at any point tonight because I can tell your energy level. You're going to have the same amount of energy at 3 in the morning. You're so excited, and you should be. You should be. I can tell, and you bring a level, Mark, when you walk into a room. I just hear energy. People listen. You're calming. You're genuine, and that's the sort of composure we need. You need someone composed that can tighten this up, bullet point, get these people to understand, and do it with integrity and walk out the same way and stay consistent. And you are just that. You are the picture of consistency and integrity. That's how we're going to get it.
And that is one of the keys. You bring up a good point is when you're talking, and I know so many people that are so passionate, and I understand because trust me, inside I'm just boiling at what goes on. The challenge is when you're talking to someone who doesn't understand, from an emotional intelligence connection standpoint, you've lost them. You know, if you start even just raising your voice to them, it just immediately they tune out. They don't want to talk to somebody who's angry. They want to talk to somebody who's passionate, but somebody who has a controlled passion to discuss how do we find solutions. And so
as you know,
people understand that.
Yeah, and as you know, Mark, it's the same with anything else. And as Jay knows and Jesse, we've discussed this off the air, and we say it certain times when we're going on with a guest and we don't know them, we kind of feel it out. And there's some people that just don't mesh with others. You know, some people that are put off by me and they're more comfortable with Jay's calming nature or Jesse's nature, and some people are really into it. You know, it's all feeling out and knowing what you're dealing with, and also coming into it with calm, like you said. These people. They love passion, but they don't want outlandish. You know, they wouldn't like. They like your nature, and it's what we need.
Yeah,
I got a little background stuff there, Jay. I don't know if that's true. I got some music in the background.
It might be. I don't know. I don't know what the background noise actually is.
It could be Mark. It's probably Mark partying.
I wonder if it's like I said, I'm eating a quesadilla in some Mexican restaurant here. I wonder if that's Mexican music in here behind.
Hey, you're multitasking, Mr. Ludwig. Be careful in Mexican. If you have to go present tomorrow or anything like that, be careful. You will be calling me at 3 a.m.
Yeah. So my thing on this one, obviously, is you have gone out of your way. And I think that the way things are set up normally is that in any negotiation process, there's an opener, there's a middle guy or gal, and then there's a closer. And I think that right now you have done such an amazing job being that opener that we needed. I can't value this enough on how much you have to open the door before we can have a middle person or a closer get in there. And
yeah,
that's
the
the issue.
argument a lot is it's almost like a corporation. They need engineers to design a product, but they also need a marketing staff to sell the product. And so
Exactly.
that's where my specialty comes in. Jeremy is great at the legislation negotiations. My role is more the marketer of, hey, pay attention to us, open the door. So, like I said, that's a neat thing, too. That's why I can't wait to bring Jeremy and Linda and Kenneth with me is we've gotten, after dealing with somebody that long, you almost have a feel. It's almost like probably people in the military or people that have been on sports teams, you've got a feeling sometime that somebody's
you're
to the left, and they don't even have to say it. You know how to block for them. And here, I can almost read what Jeremy's going to say, what Kenneth's going to say, what Linda, and I just can't wait to bring all of them up here as a team to tackle this together. But in the meantime, like I said, my goal is to make a few more trips up here so that when we do all come as a team, I've got plenty of appointments booked. That all I have to do is make a phone call. And, that's Mark. Okay, we can book that one.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome.
So, like I said, if you guys can help spread the word, we definitely, if somebody can now is the time.
I guess we could do that, Mr. Ludwig. That's exciting. We'll definitely do that. And I know we've already got people that have already been sharing things like crazy. That we got a lot of listeners on the show already. I looked, we've got over 1,000 already. So there's people hearing this, and there's people up there listening, and this is exciting because, again, we feel it. You can feel energies. You know when you have it. And in sales or any sort of this sort of thing, you know when you have a bite, and you know when you have more. You have it, and it's genuine. So go get it. I say to everybody out there, go ahead, Mark. You do your thing. You're trusted. We know you're going to represent this movement and everybody in it with integrity, honesty, and honor. And I'm excited. You're a lot better at it than I am. So go to it.
Well, you guys, like I said, you guys do your role, so I appreciate everybody.
Right.
I probably even need to
We all have our role.
But I definitely appreciate you having me on. And once again, thanks for everything that you guys do. I really appreciate you. Stay tuned for, as I know we're having different events. November 5th, I know we're having an event in Springfield, Illinois. I don't know the location yet, but I know a bunch of groups are combining for that. I know October 26th, I'm going to be in Michigan for Jim Runstead with the Michigan Bill. I think somewhere in Lansing is where he's got me. And then in Missouri, we've got a pretty exciting one, April 12th in Cape Girardeau, which is where Linda Reutzel, the grandmother that got everything started in Missouri. I get the credit, but I'm telling you, she's the one who did the work that got started. And Wayne Wallingford, the senator that sponsored it, and Catherine Swan, the state rep, are all from Cape. And I can't guarantee, but there's about a 95% chance the Speaker of the House of Missouri will be at that one, too. So that's going to be a great one. That'll be a Thursday night. So if anybody's within 2 hours of Cape Girardeau, Missouri, even if you're in Illinois, we just need numbers. I don't care what state you're at. We just need numbers in that room to be able to show the country that, hey, something's going on. So if you're in Illinois, please come to Cape if you're near there.
Mr. Ludwig, you may have an itinerary or list of places that you're going to be, events, this, that. If you don't have one, I'm sure you will. If you do, please share away, and we'll share the heck out of it so we get the numbers in.
Absolutely.
Out any way we can.
I'll try and formalize it. Like I said, I just know those three are coming up: the Cape Girardeau, the Lansing, Michigan, and the Springfield one.
And I know that I will try and be at the Springfield one for sure because that's not too far for me. I can take the train and get there in I could probably be there in maybe 30 minutes on the train, so I'll be there.
Oh, man.
Jay, I'm jealous, man. You get to shake Mark Ludwig's hand. I want to do that, too. I'm moving out there, man. That's great. What an awesome thing.
Well, I'm thinking that Springfield one's going to be pretty big. I think we may have a couple hundred people at that one, so that's going to be
When was that again, Mr. Ludwig? When was that?
November 5th. It's Sunday, November 5th.
Well,
like
that's far enough away.
I don't know the location, but I know it'll be somewhere in Springfield, and I know there's already a couple of state reps that have committed. So,
awesome.
Well, I'm being very, very genuine when I say I'm going to talk to Jay after the show and talk about maybe bumping with him around that time and cruising in to be there with you guys. I'm going to do everything I can to do that. If Jay doesn't have the extra room, we're close enough. I'll snuggle with him as long as he wears socks. I don't like cold feet on my legs. Love you, Mr. Ludwig. Thank you so much. And I know you got to go. You're at a Mexican restaurant. We love you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you, brother.
Take care, Mr. Ludwig. Thanks, pal.
Appreciate you. Bye-bye.
Love you, brother.
All right, Mr. Mark Ludwig out there. Just doing an awesome job for us.
Man, Jay and Jesse, he's got an overwhelmingly awesome energy, doesn't it? Like, you get excited even if you're not there. He makes it so you're like, wow, it's impossible. What a just an honor to have him as a part of representation of in this movement. I mean, that's it right there, folks.
Absolutely. And so we've got the phone lines cleared right now for you. If you are out there, call in to 516-387-1481. We'd be happy to have you on. Unfortunately, my screening process will not work at this present time. So I will tell you this. If we go in a negative direction, I will cut off. But other than that, we're going to stay positive on this, the positive things, the positive aspects that are on the Million Parent March and what has been accomplished. That's what our goal is here, is to be completely open, but we want to be completely positive in the positive right direction of what this movement means to you, where we're going with this, because we're only going up from here. We are not going down. Exactly. We're not going backwards.
Thank you, Jay. And Jay and I have discussed this at length. This is why we work so well together. We concur about that stuff, and we help each other, and Jesse too. We're all in agreement here. It can happen. Rehashing the negative is not going to help to build up the positive in terms of the future and what we can do here. Some of us know the deal. It's not about personal egos. It's about getting us together collectively to the end goal. And people like Mr. Ludwig do that in positivity. It's not about ignoring certain things, but it's about saying, okay, how can this benefit us? And that sort of BS and background noise and negativity will not do that. We'll be self-centered here at the Far From Normal radio show and say we're only going to go positive because that's what's only going to benefit us, all of us. Thank you, Jay.
Also, yes. Also, if you have dialed into the station, make sure that you press 1 if you would like to be live on the air. And that way it'll let me know that you are ready. Otherwise, I will just pick random people, I suppose. And it'll definitely let me know. So right now, we've got a caller on 2080. Caller 2080, who do I have on the line?
Hey, Jay, this is Jeff Morgan. I was out there yesterday. I was out there Sunday and Monday, and what really encouraged me was to see that pastor, Reverend Jared Maupin, come in from Arizona. It was so good to see a pastor get up there and to hit the issues, because so many pastors are not really, are either unaware of it or are not really addressing the issue. Pastor Jared Maupin did an outstanding job, and it was just a blessing to be there with him. I got to interview him a little bit afterwards as well. I'm going to be posting them online later on. I'll share them to you, but it was really neat to see him.
Yeah, I know, Jeff, that Jeff, you've been out there. You're very good friends with Lily Black, and you come highly recommended. You do some amazing work with video feeds and things like that. So we love you and appreciate you. Now, what are some of the things that you saw that were just amazing, and you couldn't put into fathom how things were transpiring, and you know, obviously there are some downfalls, like we've said, but obviously we want to point in the right direction. What are the great things, the great aspects beyond Reverend Moffitt?
Well, the real good stuff that I've seen is that there are people that are having the courage to speak out and speak out forcefully, and to really address the issues. I got to speak with Gary Jacobs. There was another man, Marshall Allen, but I couldn't put him on videotape because there were some sensitive issues. But you hear the stories and you hear people that are working behind the scenes, and you know, even the heartbreak. I mean, every time you hear a story, you know, sometimes after the first sentence you can fill in the rest of it. You just know where it's going. But there's other people that have been through so much and are still positive and still fighting. And to see that there have been victories out there, it's just an encouragement. And the one thing for me, you know, for myself, I also deal with the children, but it's the grandchildren. I've been out there because of my two grandchildren, Cruz and Gideon Morgan. And what was also encouraging to me was to see that grandchildren were mentioned by several different speakers. It's not just a parental thing, it's the grandparents thing, because I'm working to try to get grandparents' rights, as Lily Black is as well. Because, you know, when you look at the role of grandparents in the life of a grandchild, I know for me they were very influential. And for a parent or anybody to deprive a grandchild of having those memories with his or her grandparent, it's just unfathomable, and it hurts the children. And, you know, there was that one quote that I remember from Monster-in-Law, where Jennifer Lopez and Jane Fonda were together, and at the end of the movie they had some conflict, and Jennifer Lopez says to Jane Fonda, "Now about the holidays." You can hear Jane Fonda saying, "You're not going to keep me away, are you?" And Jennifer Lopez comes up, and Charlie in the movie says, basically, every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, every play recital, every soccer game, every this, every that, I want you to be there, Viola. I want you to be front and center. I want you to teach the children things that Kevin and I can't teach them. I want you to be there. I want you to love them. I want you to spoil them. I want you to be their greatest cheerleader. And that's what we as parents should all be hoping for at the same time. This is not just a parental rights issue. When we're talking about our children and the wholeness, we have to have the grandparents in there as well. And it was so encouraging to me to see people actually saying grandparents, grandparents, grandparents. So that's what I took away from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Jeff, it's Bud Vino here. I want to concur with Jay too. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.
And I'll say it's true. It's about Mark mentioned this. You mentioned this, and you talked about with the Pastor Moffat there. It's about acknowledgement.
Right.
And addressing. And Jessie said it as well. Jessie had talked about ignorance, and she said it benevolently, and she didn't mean people were dumb. She meant they didn't know. So when you educate people and do it with love and genuineness, as opposed to "you're going to hear me," there's a big difference between being a bully and being assertive. There's a big difference. So we give you a lot of credit. You've got a lot of intestinal fortitude, Mr. Morgan. I see a lot of what you do, and Jay does too, and you're definitely respected. It's from the heart, and we know it is from you too. Thank you, and thanks for sharing your experience here. Please keep doing what you're doing. I know you got our backing, my brother.
All right.
Just say, hey, maybe I can swing a hammer here and there, and like I said, everybody has different gifts, but everybody has to be involved, and that will make the difference. Thank you so much for what you guys do.
Thanks, my brother.
Thank you. Well said, man.
All right. Awesome stuff.
Jeff couldn't be more right on. It's and it seems to be the recurring theme here on the show. It's hone in on your strengths. Everybody's got a place. Everybody's got a purpose. There's no one useless except for the person that tells you you're useless.
Absolutely.
Everybody's got a purpose, and it's about overcoming the fears and knowing, and getting involved with people that build you up and instead of cutting you down. That's the key.
Absolutely. And I'm going to go ahead and get to our next caller, 9028. 9028, you are live on the air.
Hey now, it's Andy Scott.
Hey.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, Andy.
Hey now. What's up, brother?
So, Andy, awesome stuff. Obviously, from your perspective, we really want to talk about where this movement needs to go forward. Obviously, obviously some things transpired that weren't good, and that happens. We've got that in every movement. But how do we need to go forward, obviously, from the Million Parrot March and some of the flaws that happened, and where do we go and move this in a positive direction?
Well, being on a positive spin here, because in the last couple of weeks, of course, there's always one thorn in my skin, but that's always going to be, everyone's always going to have one of those. I'm not even going to acknowledge it just because it's there.
Jay has me, Andy. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
But as I said when Jody was upset the other day, and I've said this to Jay, I'll walk next to anyone. Next to. I don't need someone. I don't need to follow someone. I don't want to walk behind someone or in front of someone. You ever look at a human chain, in countries across the world where I was injured in the Ukraine, for instance? They had a human chain that stretched literally across the country, hand in hand. There wasn't a man in the front. There wasn't a man with 300 people behind him. They were hand in hand, side by side, next to each other.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me, Andy. Andy, wasn't there? Wasn't it way back in the 80s? There was Hands Across America or something like that.
Yes, there was.
We Are the World. We are the world. If you remember, that was more. We Are the World. That was more in terms of feeding the children.
Granted, I'm 42 and I was really young then.
Yeah, I'm 42. I'm 42, but I'm really 25. We're much younger than our physical age. 42 is young, right, Andy? I'll tell you,
I'm young at heart.
Well, exactly, and that's a wonderful thing. You know,
Yes.
we see all the stuff you do, and I know you talk to Jay more on a personal level. I don't think you and I have ever actually spoken, but I see a lot of the stuff you do too. And you know, certain things in terms that we look at as negative, it teaches us things if we're open to that.
Yeah.
It shows us maybe what we don't want to do and things that you don't want to do if you're open to going, okay, what positive can I bring out of it? And honestly, it's really, in terms of the positiveness that I see in you, it's made you more, even more outward in terms of more aggressive in terms of your fight in this whole movement. It's made you kind of come into your own. I've seen a lot of awesome things from you, a lot of empowering things.
You know,
and I encourage that, man. I love it.
Jake could probably attest, before I was a sheeple, and some things transpired back with the APA. I wouldn't even call it a protest, debacle. And I guess my eyes were really open then when that happened. And since then, I guess
obviously, Yeah, I was just going to say, obviously, you know, those things that have transpired, you know, with the APA and, you know, the events that transpired, obviously, though, it's got you looking at things now, and you understand that, you know, that there are some certain people, some certain groups that, you know, maybe we can't trust, and we know, okay, but we move it forward in the positive direction of the people that we know we can trust now.
Right.
And okay, that guy next to you, that gal next to you, you know, they're going to be your battle buddy. They're in the battle buddy phase with you. They're in the heat of this battle.
Right.
They're going to back you up and have your back.
Well, I will be honest in that before the APA thing, I didn't necessarily agree with the thorn in my thumb, but I thought, you know, we all have thorns in our thumbs, and as long as we're working towards the same goal, I'm just going to I'm just going to kind of focus on the same goal, and ignore any of the, what I call noise.
Right.
And after the APA thing went down, I think I talked to you the night before that, Jay, if you remember, and it was a really odd, odd thing. That why I was going, I had no idea, but I did what even though my gut told me don't do it, I did it anyway because I had given my word.
Right, and also, you know, and I'll say this, again, like I said, Andy, we all learn certain things. It's just like when you deal with people individually, right, and as groups, whatever, it's just the same thing. You put into it your heart, you're genuine, and if other people aren't, that's not a reflection on you. So what you have to do is continue and stay consistent with that, and you put out the, whatever you want to put out, prayer, energy, that the other people fall in line with in terms of your genuine heart, if that's what you're doing. And when people, people don't get as much shaken down when they really look at the, the overall picture, what we're doing this for. And like I said, I always say, be narcissistic in the sense people get, we're worried about that word. There is a healthy level of narcissism, and say, how is this going to benefit me in the long run? But how is this going to help me or hurt me? And if it's only for ego and it's to discredit someone, again, I've said last week and I've heard it before. This isn't my quote. A lie has speed and the truth has longevity. That's a fact. And the hardest thing sometimes is when you're trying to convey certain things to people, it comes across as convincing. Not you, Andy. I'm talking about just people individually. When you're passionate, and so when you realize all you have to do is wait. Because, again, and I say this benevolently and not point at all. I've said before, the karma takes care of itself. The trash takes itself out. You don't even have to buy the bag. The hardest part is the wait. So you keep doing good, and hopefully you just saturate with good, and the bad just falls off. And you don't even give, again, Jackson Robinson out there, I talk about tunnel vision. The rest is all peripheral, and you got to see it's all just stupid. We all learn every day. Jay learns from me. I learn from Jay. Jay gets emotional. I get emotional. Believe it or not, but I do, and we're all human. So when you can see what people are trying to do that are trying to cut you. So how many people are going to cut others down? If someone's trying to cut you down, it's because they're a little bit nervous of you. They're worried about you may be a little more powerful than them, or have a little bit more going on, or have a little bit more contained or than they are. People only do that when they're trying to shake you down, when they feel like you're confident. They don't want you to be that way. So what you have to do is just be more staunch.
I see that.
Yeah, and you say, okay, it makes you know in your heart you're doing right if you know you are. I mean, we all know when we're being jerks. And
absolutely.
If I get under someone's skin, it's because they, you've heard this saying many times, I'm sure, when someone has something to hide, they get super defensive. You know, if you have nothing to hide, then you're totally transparent. Well, I try and be as transparent as I can be. Jay's a bigger man than me in the sense that there's some things that have gone on that he's kept on the DL that I, honestly, my temper probably wouldn't have allowed.
That's my boy.
To keep quiet.
That's my boy.
But that's why I like Jay, because he's taught me to kind of go, you know, just sit on it. Eventually, this will come out. Eventually, something's going to happen. And in my case, in this instance, it seems that
well, I will say, I'm sorry. I just want to say I'm not. When I speak to it, there's no one I'm talking about in a pointed sense. This is an overall, just trying to assist people. And we understand. I mean, I can empathize, sympathize all the different sizes with your emotions because we've all been there. Especially when we're within this movement, we're passionate, right, guys? You know, we're hurting as it is. In terms of a lot of us that are, you know, fighting for our children, and we're, you know, at night we're hurting, and then certain things come at us, and it hits us at a very raw time. Heavy hitters in the movement too, and I say heavy hitters, just the people that are more well known. Is that people sometimes don't humanize them, but you know, Mark Ludwig cries at night, Jay cries at night, I cry at night sometimes. You know, everybody does. We're all human.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you want to go ahead, Andy.
I think it's overall. I've just kind of, it's like I say all the time, karma. I feel like as this time has gone on without me seeing my son, I feel like if I put bad karma out and doesn't come back and visit me, it's going to visit someone that I know or care for. Maybe come back because I'm associated with Jay or you or Ted or whoever.
Yeah.
And so
I'll tell you this.
Put anything out there.
Yeah,
and I don't know exactly how old you are, Mr. Scoggs, but our last caller, too, he said he's 42, and I'm going to admit I'm 42. And I think with age, sometimes comes clarity and more patience sometimes, because you see the way certain things unfold and that, wow, I didn't need to do anything. Jay will agree with this. Anytime Jay and I in life, Jay and I have had many conversations, most of them are at 3 in the morning. Whenever we've tried to force something that we know is wrong in terms of we want people to see it or we know we're right, it has happened slower and it has not worked. When we just say, you know what, we're right, we're letting it go. And it's Jay and I will come to each other like amazing. Oh my God, dude, did you see I did nothing except, like, you know, not to sound corny, but, you know, love, put it out there, and it just worked out even better than I could have planned. That's how it works, because karma is a real thing. Whatever you want to believe in, you know, the Lord above, law of attraction, whatever the energy you want to believe, that it's about love. And again, and the reason I say that at 42, I have screwed enough people over in my past to know how karma works. I've suffered from it. So I don't mess with it. I don't mess with it. You hit
that right on the head. I tell people all the time, I don't need people screwing me up. I can screw up on my own.
Karma. Jay and I have discussed it.
I thought you were gonna call me old. Is what it amounted to. You know.
I definitely have to interject here. And I do have to say that I cannot
Jesse's a young one.
Karma to come back. I truly cannot, because you know, when it does, I'm gonna have a front row seat. Believe that.
Well, Karma's a bitch. Trust me, I don't mess with her. I'm scared shitless. There's not many people that scare me, and Karma does. She's relentless, and she'll rip you hard. She has no.
Hey, I dated a stripper once named Karma, and she was a real vindictive.
Well, I would have ran right then. I would have been intrigued at first, but then probably a little bit scared.
Yeah.
Karma.
All right. Well, thank you, Andy. Thank you for being on. I'm going to go ahead and get to one more caller before we go ahead and get to the break. So, sorry. People in the queue at least. So, caller 0472. Caller 0472 is the last four. How are you doing this evening?
Oh, I'm wonderful, Jay. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Who do I have on the line here?
Carmel from California, Solano County.
Hi, Carmel. How are you doing?
Hello, Carmel.
Wonderful. Wonderful,
awesome.
Especially after yesterday, even though we couldn't be in D.C. to support this amazing march, we took it upon ourselves and gathered at our courthouse, which is Solano County, where the people are actually saying enough is enough. We want to drain the swamp of these bad judges, CPS, attorneys, and as well as court administrators.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yes, that's absolutely the truth. I mean, I heard and saw a lot of pictures that were out there in California, obviously. Now, where out in California were you guys at? Was it Sarasota, is that correct? Or where was that?
We were in Fairfield. Fairfield is actually also in Solano County. So that's in between Sacramento and San Francisco, for those who have no idea where we are. As a matter of fact, the closest corrupt county of family court is Contra Costa. We've had a lot of cases in Contra Costa where, family courts, mothers, fathers, have been going through the same problems. This is not a man issue, a woman issue. This is families that affect children,
Yeah, I will agree. And
it's a human rights issue, is what it is. Human rights issue.
Absolutely. It's a violation of our human rights. It's a violation of our constitutional rights.
Without question.
And California, Jay, just I want to just be brief because I know there's so many people, but, we in California have actually taken the next step. We have actually, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Assembly Bill 249. It's a Political Reform Act of 1974. What that means in a nutshell is one disclosure, because I'm sure we all can agree that whatever's going on in family court is definitely money motivated. There's no doubt that it's money motivated. And so we are saying, because of the love of money, I want to rephrase that. Not money. Money is not the root of all evil. It's the love of money.
Yes.
And the court system is using that to foot their retirement. And so what we are doing is we are sending a very clear message out there. Okay? Assembly Bill 249, which was gracefully accepted and approved by over 100,000 voters in California. We are talking about 84% of voters. We are talking about liberals, we are talking about Republicans, and we are talking about Democrats. This is a bipartisan bill. And I'm talking on behalf of grassroots activists out there. When our families are destroyed, we're not talking about Republicans or Democrats or even the ones that are sitting on the fence. No, this is money, and they will grab it whichever way they will get it. So I urge everybody out there in California, let's pass AB 249. Just to give you an idea, Jay, why this is so important, especially at this court yesterday, Solano County, how AB 249 is directly linked with this judge. Okay, I'm going to be brief. Judge Christine Carringer, she's a Republican, okay? That's not my problem. That's not the problem I'm having. She was appointed by Governor Jerry Brown, who's a Democrat. She was not elected. She was appointed. She's got 270 cases of alleged misconduct. I say alleged because I can talk about my situation, okay? But my point is 236 cases.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut you off on that one, but
yeah, only because we've got a lot of callers, and it's not.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we're running low on that time, but I want to thank you.
Yeah, I will say.
Please, let's just pass AB 249. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
No problem.
And we strong behind everyone. Okay. Just
thank you so much.
Until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are. Period.
Right. Absolutely. And I love your passion. Thanks for calling in. The point I was going to make, Jay, is it's, obviously this is not only a problem here in America, it's worldwide. We see, as you know, you have friends from all over the world, as I do. It's a problem in Australia, it's a problem in South Africa, it's a problem in England, it's huge everywhere. And we talked about a human rights issue, and she calls in, our caller calls in from California. I see a lot of people out there in California, as I do Illinois, and all over the country. So it's definitely a global problem, and we're working together, and I love her passion. And she's right. I've seen that before. Until the people that are, as outraged, the people that aren't affected as are, there won't be as much change. Yes. So what we do is about bringing awareness, as Jesse said.
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and do this because we are at our hour mark here. Wow. And I'm going to go ahead and play a song that is by a band that we have already made contact with. Absolutely. We have approval to play this one. So I want to definitely say thank you to this band. Ceasefire out there. Awesome, awesome band. If you get a chance to check them out, this is a song called No Tomorrow. Awesome, and we are back. on the Far From Normal radio show, and I want to welcome back in my co-host, Bud Vino. Bud, how are you doing? Taking a drink there?
Yeah, you caught me in mid-sip. You usually don't get to catch that behind the scenes footage. You did. It shows you how quick I am. Yo, my brother Moss and my sister Juana. Second hour, usually the last 10 minutes of the depressing period, but I already am, Jay. But I'm going to live in the moment. We don't savor the flavor enough. We don't live in the moment and really enjoy it, so I'm going to do that for the next hour. Welcome back, our sister, our fellow warrior, Jessie Juana. What's up, Jess?
It's been such a great show. I'm so happy to hear that there's so many people involved. You know, we talk about, grandparents' rights. I was raised by my grandparents for the first, for the early years of my life, so I definitely couldn't imagine my life without them. We talk about fathers' rights. We talk about mothers who are being deprived of their rights, and even more so than fathers, it's, we've come to unfortunately expect the denial of fathers' rights among the system, but for mothers who are denied rights, that's almost a worse stigma because they are viewed as supreme. We all take such an active role in this fight for really, it just is equality. And I do apologize. I do tend to lean towards fathers because that is my passion. My passion is fathers' rights. I've stood beside my husband for 6 years, $110,000 in just useless money. So I do claim that, and I do own that, and I apologize for that. I don't apologize for the fight, but I apologize for the singularity. But just the unity of this mission and the fight and bringing together all of us. We talk about Hands Across America as feeding America and things of that nature, and we have to realize that we really are one movement. And we have to be united, man. We have to be united in this fight for parental equality. And we're missing that, and we would benefit from the development of that, from a more structured, more organized leadership thereof movement.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree.
I want to say a couple points. Number one, you brought up unity. I'm glad you did, because unity doesn't mean agreeing with every single point that everyone has and agreeing with it. No, but it means solidarity. Unity means being united and agreeing to disagree on some levels, but collectively coming together for the common goal. And again, you mentioned, too, the other point was grandparents. I'm glad you did. The first person I think of, Jay, just off the top of my head, is our friend Jackie out there. And there are thousands, literally, that we deal with every week and month. And I think about Jackie because then the other term that I thought of was collateral damage. As much as the children are, a lot of times the grandparents are collateral damage in this. They don't, as Jesse said, they don't have a ton of say. That's got to change. And the collateral damage is they love their grandchildren. They adore it just like the parents do. They deserve it, and the children deserve their loving, healthy, nurturing grandparents as well, because that's a loss for the children, just like a death when they don't have it. And it's not only is it unfortunate, but it's unacceptable. So I think you're right on, Jesse. Collectively, we're getting there.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to go ahead right back into taking the next caller here. So I've got on right now the last four, 6513. 6513, who are we talking with this evening?
This is Kirk Pendergrass.
Kirk Pendergrass, our good buddy out there.
The man, the myth, the legend. Thank you for calling in.
Caught me with a cracker in my mouth.
See, Jay's good at that, Kirk. Jay, he waits. I think he's got a hidden camera, and he waited for that.
Yeah, I do.
Sitting here chilling with my 3-year-old. He's playing with my electric drill and screws.
Man, I love hearing that, Kirk. I see a lot of the stuff you do, Kirk. First of all, I just want to preface by saying you're an awesome dad. I see that. And two, the knowledge that you put out and the information you put out constitutionally and the different, just different breakdowns of the laws and the information that you have that people don't know in your law corner is invaluable. I give you a lot of credit, a lot of respect for you, brother. Thank you for what you do.
Absolutely.
Thank you. It's amazing that this stuff is all written. It's all written out there. It's the law.
Right.
And people think that statutes, codes, rules, regulations, policy is law, and it's not.
Right.
And there's tons of case law out there. Even recently here, Lee Arthur Rice from American Common Law Academy just put an Idaho Supreme Court case that says code is not law. because it's not. It's supposed to codify or codify the law. We, the people, make law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I want to say is when I think about you, Kurt, I think about someone who puts in the grunt work, who puts in the work that is the tedious, arduous work that is a lot of times people will say, oh, when they get, and you do it, and you do it with vigor, and you do it with passion, and you break it down and make it really easy for people to just get on and not have to do all that legwork because you do it. And again, we go to our strengths, and that's one of your strengths. You're amazing, man. It's awesome to see. And you're relentless with it. You're relentless, and that's longevity is the key, man. That's what I respect, man. Keep it going.
I'm debating on actually starting to do some live videos. Maybe getting with Ted to kind of do what you guys are doing, have the live video going with the radio show.
I think that would be awesome. I think it would benefit. I think you seem engaging on the air. I think it would be great. I'd watch it. You got a viewer here.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Going back a little bit to what you guys were talking about earlier, because this is how it affects me. Is in this movement and listening to people tell me their stories. It's very heartbreaking for me because I take it personally because I literally put myself in their shoes and I feel what they feel. And so sometimes I have to take a break from this stuff, and I basically turn my messenger off. I don't answer emails. I don't answer phone calls. I have to mentally shut down and get back to me.
Well, you're smart. You're smart, Kurt. That's called self-preservation. And you're self-aware, and a lot of people aren't, and they just go until they burn it. We all do that. Because if you are genuine, that just shows me you're even more genuine. Because what you do is when you put your heart in it, as human beings, when we're genuine, it becomes emotionally overwhelming. I'm glad you have the wherewithal and the self-knowledge to be able to say, you know what, I have to step back, because at this point, I'm no longer a benefit. I've got to recharge, and instead of saying, oh, the look of it, people might, you do what's right. And that's great. And I know a lot of people probably that reach out to you, as they do. I know Jay and I, they get sometimes frustrated because people think that it's, and I understand that
the midnight oil.
Well, the thing is, I think a lot of people, and this is, and a lot of people that I think, and this is not on everyone, but when people are desperate and they reach out, they don't really think that there's other people messaging you too. It's not self-aggrandizing, and I know that I'm sure, Kurt, and I know Jay does. He tries to be pragmatic and get the things. It's hard sometimes when I know Jay. I can speak for Jay when I say sometimes he wakes up to friggin' 30 emails, 20 of which people he's never heard of. And I know I'm sure you do too, Kirk, and I do. And so what I tell people is just please be patient and don't think it's some sort of personal knock or anyone's being ignored. We put our hearts out there, I know, and Kirk does too, and Jesse too. And again, Jesse's talked about some of her personal battles concurrent with this. And we all have them. We're all human. So it's amazing what you do.
Very
I implore people to go onto your page. It is, and I implore people, it's selfless in that sense. I implore people to go on your page and get educated. It's awesome. I do it at 3 in the morning sometimes. That's what a tool I am. I go look at law at 3 in the morning.
Right.
Yeah, awesome. So, Kurt, were you down there? Jesse, go ahead.
I'm getting up at 3 in the morning. I'm getting messages from Bud, or I'm seeing him active on Facebook, so I can attest to that.
What was the message? I think I left one in the group the other day. It was like, I said, hey, guys, it's Bud. It's like 3 in the morning. I'm so tired. You guys know that isn't true. Wake up. It doesn't matter what. I tell them to wake up. Get up, baby. It's awesome. We got a good group, man. We got a bunch of good people, Kirk included, in this movement, man. It's just an honor to have all these people involved, be able to shoot the breeze and to see the passion and just the. And then to have Mark come on, and he's so excited, and we see it all coming to fruition. That's the key. When you can give people some things they can actually see, they can touch, they can see success. And people like Kirk, people that are relentless no matter what, people like Mark, people like Jay, no matter what, they just keep going forward, focusing. And we're going to win this, folks. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And we're forcing that issue of being sooner rather than later.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Kirk, you've got a show actually on the Future of Our Children's Radio Network. I want to give you the opportunity to give that a good plug for sure. Actually, out there, I'll just let you give the plug the night that it's on and everything, and give you that time and that opportunity.
Definitely.
Okay, thank you. Law for Dummies is the name of the show. It's on the Future of Our Children. Same network as Far From Normal. We're all work together trying to help educate people, and you guys do the lighter side of things, but still do education and try and make it fun, and where mine's kind of more serious. So although my personality, my character comes out. I'm still kind of a goofy guy, but we help educate, empower, literally empower you. When you have knowledge, it literally empowers you because you know. If I ask you what 2 + 2 is, how many people are going to be raising their hand to answer that question because they know?
And
that knowledge is there.
And confidently, right, Kirk?
What's that?
And confidently, because we know what 2 + 2 is. Bang, you know it so well, you're so versed in it, you have no question, you don't waver, you know it, you're stumped. Right. Just like if you go into Kirk's Law Corner and get educated there.
Absolutely.
Right. So you guys are aware that I joined American Common Law Academy here about 8 months ago. We actually did a law seminar here this last weekend here in Nampa, Idaho. And so what we're trying to do is obviously get local, but we still try and help people across the country, around the world, because that's just needed. But the key is getting local because you can actually do more things local. It's hard to help somebody clear across the United States. It's hard to help somebody around the world, but
especially when it comes down to law.
Yeah, we actually have a gentleman, Fred Kelly Grant, who has teamed up with us, and he's going to be teaching me how to be a paralegal. He's been in law for 61 years. He's been a federal judge's clerk of the court. He's been a prosecutor. He's been a defense attorney. He's worked with mayors, representatives, and he's been all through the politics. And one thing that he specializes in now is Title 42, and he's never lost a case.
Really?
Not once. Not once.
I could use this guy. I could definitely use this guy.
People's ears.
If you were here in Idaho, we're having a class tomorrow night. Fred Kelly Grant's teaching tomorrow night at the American Common Law Academy.
Jay, if you're really dedicated, you get there. Come on, it's all start walking. Start walking, brother. Come on.
Well, if I had my rocket shoes, I'd be there. That's for sure. Idaho's quite a way away, but
where's your jetpack?
Yeah, Kurt's pretty inventive. He might be able to make you one. A couple of rockets to go there. Hey, Kurt, thanks for everything you do, brother, honestly. And everybody tune in to Kirk's Law Corner, and you can give that a last plug out to your show. Everybody tune in. Kirk's got a good heart, and he's knowledgeable. He's got a lot of he's definitely, he's got credibility within this movement. He's not fluff. So go out there and get educated and empowered, as Kirk said, empowered. That's how you do it. Knowledge is power.
Yes. Truly empower you. Yes. Thank you, guys.
Yes. Absolutely.
And keep up the good work yourself. Love you guys.
All right. Thank you. We appreciate it.
I'd like to add one thing here. I couldn't make it to Washington, D.C., but we did get together here locally, a small group of us. We went up to the Department of Health and Welfare, and we chalked on their sidewalks, and we exercised our right to peaceably assemble, which I want to reiterate that protest, while you do have the right to protest, it is a written declaration. So when your claim and exercise of a right can't be converted into a crime, that's Miller versus U.S., start claiming the right to peaceably assemble. Not protesting, because protesting is not standing out on the sidewalk with a sign. That's not protesting. That's peaceably assembling. So when you say, well, I'm just out here protesting, you're not. And you're not claiming the correct right. So you're not going to afford yourself the correct protection under the law.
Correct.
Yeah,
I know it's hard to break that habit of, well, I'm just protesting, and we're just protesting. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news when it comes to law. You're not.
This is what makes Kirk great, is he breaks every little word of every look. That's what you need. And again, the paralegal thing, Kirk, I'm sure is going to go even beyond that. Even beyond, and you whatever you want to do, sky's the limit for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Kirk.
Keep doing your thing.
Yeah, absolutely, Kirk. Thank you very much. We appreciate you, brother. And we're gonna definitely talk about a lot of these other people that have been doing amazing stuff, obviously behind the scenes. I want to give Randy Davis a big shout out, because obviously Randy's had some issues come up. A lot of he's had some sickness, obviously, too. And Randy's just doing amazing work, and can't be any more proud of the guy. You'll see a lot more coming up in the future with also Neil Shelton. Neil and a few others have gotten in contact with me about a huge rally, hopefully, that will be happening next year. And we'll get in more depth and in more detail as that comes down the pike. But
as Jay said, we're not going to let all the details out because they're not there yet. But I can tell you right now, the energy is positive. And I'm not, again, we're not going to get into it, but I'll say it's a different direction in terms of the overall. I won't get into it. Besides to say people are going to love it. The ideas I know Mr. Shelton originally put out, I am completely in agreement with the way it'll be handled and when around the time frame. And Jay's idea of the locale is brilliant. It's all coming together. And again, this is not, people are piecing together what they've heard, what they've seen from other people. This isn't, hey, this would be good for me. I'm not saying that any rally has been like that. What I'm saying is it's really being done with the overall big picture on how it will benefit everybody in terms of convenience and numbers and voice and positivity. It's amazing. It's amazing, and you guys are going to hear more in the future. Trust me. We're all working together, and it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah. It is. It's going to be something that's all encompassing. It's going to be something that there will be a open committee for. This has already been discussed. Is that there will be a committee of people that are putting all of the actions into place, and it will be all-encompassing because we want to make sure that this is about kind of fitting in with the whole entire format of one.
The hierarchy will be, the hierarchy will be that, Jay, one, right? The hierarchy will be, it'll be all of us. That'll be, it's the collective, what will benefit everybody, and I think that's what, besides, without saying too much more, people don't have to worry about that sort of thing because I think we've learned. And that's, the definition, Einstein's definition of insanity, right? Repeating the same behavior and thinking anything's going to change. So what you do is when you do these things that are new, you learn. Again, if you stub your toe, you don't go and, hopefully don't stub your toe in the same place twice. You learn. That's what we do in life, no matter if it's on a personal level or if it's something like this. We learn what's good. And we go with that, and we discard the negative, and that's how we learn. We keep going. It's going to be great. I can't wait. I'm already there, mentally.
Yeah, I'm already there as well. I mean, it sounds like something that's going to be beneficial. Now, do I know whether or not this is going to be something that where in the country? I have no idea for sure. There's been different discussions, but that's not been decided yet. Yeah.
And I'll say it's so very much in its infancy that these are. A lot of these ideas are, I guess, wishes from a lot of us. That can definitely happen. These aren't out of the realm of possibility. What I'm saying is it's so in the beginning of stages that the excitement and the overall, what the overall setup will be like is known because I think we're all in agreement with that. I mean, that was a no-brainer. I mean, I was excited when I saw that and different people's ideas and the direction. I said, here we go, baby. Here we go. And Jesse, what do you think about it all? I know Jesse's up there in Florida, Jay's out in Illinois. I'm where I am in New England. And Jesse, I know you've had the hurricane and all the weather, but was there a lot of buzz down there? I know you talked to a lot of people down there and legislators and things like that. What was the overall buzz? I know you've been dealing with a lot of things currently, but.
Yeah, so a lot of our Florida people had planned to go, much like myself. And then it was the strangest thing. This hurricane came, and then my husband received a notice of hearing on the very day I was set to be there, which was so weird. So weird.
There's no such thing as a coincidence, right? Everything happens for a reason.
Right?
Right.
So we are working on planning a Florida rally, and we have a new governor who's coming into office, not this year. Well, next year will be the election, and then he'll take office in 2019. And I am confident that it is going to be our Senator Jack Latvala, who is an avid alimony reform supporter. I'm sorry. He is an avid presumption of equal time sharing. I've met with both him and his son, Chris Latvala, who's a current House of Representative. I've met with Chris Sprouse and Jeff Brandeis, all these guys here in our area. I mean, we passed equal legislation 78 to 32 last year. The year before, it was passed with astronomical support. So next year, or next election, I'm sorry, because our crappy Governor Rick Scott, and I will say it like that, will not pass it. But we will. 2019 will be our year, and that's going to be the year that parents truly feel that Florida court system is for them, because Florida court system, Florida family law system is designed to keep people entrapped in the everlasting cycle of family court abuse, extortion, trafficking of our children, and it's going to stop. And I'm so looking forward to that day where, much like my husband's case is history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, I agree. I'm going to go ahead and get to our next caller here on the line here. I've got caller 0077 on the line. Caller 0077, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing very well, Mr. Moss. How are you doing?
Oh, my
doing
goodness.
Great.
Could it be?
Long-time listener, first-time caller with Jesse.
I'm sorry?
I said long-time listener, first-time caller with you as a co-host.
Yes. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good, guys.
How are you?
Sorry, this is Jim.
I was doing your intro, Jim, and you're ready. Let me just do it one more time. The one, the only Jim Cropper, the bomb dropper, ladies and gentlemen. He's back, baby, and I'm excited to have him on. Love you, brother. It's fun to have you on, man. It's been a while since you've been on the air. It's good to see you evolving.
Yeah. It has been a while. I'm glad you guys got a chance to talk to you guys tonight.
That's awesome, brother.
We're not going to be bombing. How you doing? I'm not dropping bombs tonight, though. No bombs.
No. Good deal. And I will say that Jim and I have been friends for a while, and Jim and I remain that way. And Jim's is a good man. We all have our ebbs and flows, and it's good to have him on. And you've been definitely just a more peaceful way about you, man. And I love seeing it. So it's good to have you on, man. What do you got, brother?
Well, okay. So when it comes to, I wasn't able to go to Washington, D.C., actually. I was going to go for the MORE rally and for the NPM. However, I went down to Texas. I was helping out with some of the hurricane relief stuff there.
That's right. Yes, you were.
Yeah, I came home, and I was actually planning on heading down to where Jesse's area and tore some of the scar tissue loose from the titanium, so I didn't get to go. But the one thing that I really, when I was paying attention to the rally for the Million Parent March and for the MORE rally as well,
right,
and within the communities. Now, I've been kind of quiet within the parental equality thing. I've been trying to get like some of the people in the Patriot areas, the Patriot community, to understand kind of what the dealings with, from the family law reform side of things. And there's something that with going down to Texas, with working with all the people, seeing how the country itself all came together, even before the government intervened. And we all know when it comes to the court systems, the laws, we all know this. But we came together as people. And it wasn't a matter of, it was a movement. Because a lot of times people think of a movement, they're thinking, these are our civil rights. They think Martin Luther King, they talk about marches and then leadership. Now, see, the way I think, honestly, that I think would be a good way for people to begin to look at things, as opposed to it being a movement with a hierarchy, is if we were just a community. Because as a community, you all work together. There is no hierarchy. You all are equal. You have equal stay. You have equal everything. And at this point, it's not a matter of somebody saying, well, I'm in charge or follow me. It's a matter of we are a collective.
Right.
And instead of saying we're a movement, we are a community of people. And the same thing with the Patriot community. You see what I'm saying?
I do, and I'll tell you this, people that don't know Jim out there, Jim is a very passionate man. He's also a man that, he's emotional, which means he feels a lot. And he really is as much as we all, Jim and I get along well because he's an alpha. He's kind of a jerk at times, and I like that. I say that very benevolently. I say that very much with affection. He gets emotional because he does care. And he makes mistakes just like I do, just like everybody in the world does. But I know his heart. I don't deal with if I don't really believe in their heart. But I really believe this man. And I can tell you right now, when it's all said and done, this guy, we've teared up. I can tell you right now, people that don't know, Jim is one of the rare ones that I have called and been upset and cried over the phone with, and it has helped me. In terms of someone's heart, and that's never been when he's taken the opportunity to do it. That's when he's taken the opportunity when he sees me down to build me up. It's been a long time, but he has done that, and I remember that. Love the man for it, and keep doing what you're doing, Jim. I see the awesome change, and it's about just self-realization, and, man, you've got so many strengths, man. You're an amazing dude, and I love seeing you continue to do what you're doing, man. Keep it up.
Well, we all know that I am obviously not afraid to speak my mind. And I'm kind of like, right. I mean, Jay and I and Bud, we've never had any kind of an argument. Never once. We're buddy. But to be serious, like I said, I think that I hear a lot of people about this million parents, and I hear a lot of people complaining about there was this or there was that or there was this. And like I said, I think if people stop looking at it as if it's your group, this group, this group, this group, this group. If you look at it, like I said, more of a community, you have this neighborhood, that neighborhood, and you have a big block party. And it's a matter of, like, we all come to that middle area right there. You know what I mean? And we have fun with it. We, don't worry about, I'm going to be a head and start to you. Like, you bring the hot dog, Bud, you bring the bun, Jay, you grab the beer. Let's do this.
Yeah. Well, see, Jim, you just screwed up because we're on our way right now, and I've got the hot dogs. No, but honestly, I think you're right. There you go. I think Jim is right in terms of the overall feel of it. When people, it's about inclusion, Jay, right? And Jesse. When people feel involved, when they feel that they're kind of, their opinions don't matter, they're less apt to speak up. Now, what you do too is what I think of is as a good manager, right? You hire people that you think that can take your job. A bad manager will hire people that don't think they. So what you do is you bring people in, and a lot of times when you don't listen out of arrogance, you miss the best ideas of your life. You miss it with air and just saying, "Oh, this." Let me tell you something, man. The person that you're minimizing, what do I always say, Jay? Be careful because the feet you step on today could be attached to the ass you might have to kiss tomorrow. So when you minimize someone, you're going to be on that flip side. And I'll tell you, Jim's right. It's collective. It's about empowering each other. What he means is that family atmosphere, and Jim's all about that. I know that, man. Much love.
Yeah.
Absolutely, brother.
No, absolutely. And Jay, I got to tell you, buddy, I've missed you. I'm hoping that you and I can reconnect and work together because we used to do some pretty kick-ass work together, and I'm hoping that we can do it again.
Yeah, man. Hey,
sounds good, brother.
And just you're coming through. Just so Ted knows, you're coming through on the actual Zoom. So I don't know if he's unmuted, but we'll get him back there. I think Ted's aware, but he's looking. Either way, if people can hear you, that's great. And thanks, Jim, for calling in, man. And we're going to talk more as we do, pretty much nightly or every other night to see how each other are doing. Love you, brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love you guys too. I'm glad everything's going well for you guys. I really am. And I'm proud of you.
You too, brother. You too, pal. I love feeling your energy, man. And you're a very loving man. People don't expect that because you're 6'1" and 2-something. You're an alpha. People don't understand. You're a very caring, loving man. Do you have your faults? Absolutely, as I do too. Probably even more than you. But I'll tell you what. You're a good dude, Jim. I don't give a shit who hears it. You're a good dude. Keep it up, brother. I love you.
Yeah,
I love you too, brother.
And all right, so Jim Cropper out there, awesome stuff.
The bomb.
Yeah, and I would say definitely he's got a point, and that is obviously we want to be looked at as a community that can get along well with one another, ones that can work together to push an initiative. Obviously, we don't necessarily need that great big giant Martin Luther King character out there, obviously, that's larger than life. Yeah. And so what we need really is a community of people that work together, that try and focus together and push an agenda of becoming one united in one united goal. So, I think that's a great point.
Yeah, and I think what Jim's probably referring to too, Jesse, if you can elaborate on this too, is sometimes certain phrases, certain people, it can be off-putting to people. So I think what Jim is saying too, make it communal, make it comfortable. And I think and a lot of times and I think the movement, the word that's kind of got a kind of a bad taste is what maybe some other people, just because some of the events that have happened within that title. But I think we can, we'll shift that if some people have that And Jim does too. He's talking about communal. I think it's great. It's a great idea. I love the direction. Jesse, what do you think about it?
I think that we just need to focus on, this is about equality. This is about, upholding our civil rights, our right to be parents, and not just that, but our right for our children to have a relationship with both parents. And, we have to realize we're just people. We all make mistakes, but we adjust and we fix and we move forward, because that's what life is about.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, absolutely. Well said, Jesse.
Yes, and I'm excited. I'm excited, though. I'll tell you, I'm so excited because obviously we've got people that are out there that are doing an amazing job. They're focused. They don't pay attention to some of the nonsense that goes on, and they keep fighting. They keep fighting. They keep driving every single day, and that's what it's all about. Is that you've got to ignore the nonsense that doesn't do you any good and keep moving forward with the stuff that does. And the stuff that does is going to make all the difference in the world in this movement for the future of your children. Not that nonsense. So ignore it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and Jay, that's a great point. And you know what? I think, and we all learn, that's the hardest thing to do, isn't it, guys? To keep your emotions in check, especially when you're very emotional. To begin with, as we've discussed, most people are in this movement. So what you got to do is recognize. The biggest thing I tell people to do, and I know, and I just think of Jim Crumpler because we just had him on, and I can tell you right now, Jim will attest to this. I know Jim will end up, when you're that elevated, if you're elevated, take a breath and go to bed. Watch it. Because a lot of times I don't care. Well, I say the same thing. No. I will not change in the morning. It'll be the same. I'll be as mad in the morning. And then when you do something, you go, oh, shit, I shouldn't have done that. It's almost like you wake up and you look at that person you slept with the night before and you go, shit, you want to gnaw your arm off? No, it's the same thing. It's regret. It's the same thing. You don't want to do that. So, again, just breathe and be calm, and the next morning, a lot of times, and the reason I mentioned Jim is because Jim's, he's like that too. He's emotional. He wears his heart out there. He puts it out there. And it's passion. I love it. And he's learning. We all are.
Melissa Isaac said something to me really great one time. Melissa and I
love Melissa.
I love her. I love her to death.
I do too.
She's opened her home. She's a great person. She's a great friend of mine. I look at her to such high regard I couldn't even possibly explain. But she said to me one time, when you're upset and you want to write an email or you want to send an email, you write it and then you let it sit in your draft box, and you go back to 30 minutes. And in 30 minutes, if you still think that email is okay to send, then go ahead and send it, and at least you've taken that time. I was pushed. I'm going to put it out there today. I was pushed to such limits today. Okay, such limits that I had the police at my house today. The police. For concerns of suicide that were completely irrelevant. They were just ludicrous. I am a happy person. I'm a kind person. I love my life. That would be the last thing I would ever do in my life. It was just fabricated false allegations that were for the purpose of inciting a response. And had I acted, I probably would have made a really, really bad mistake.
Right. And you know what? I'm sure 10 years ago, Jesse, you probably would have, right? Maybe. So it's we learn. We go, it's hard.
Probably 10 months ago.
Exactly. 10 days ago. Yeah, it is. Sometimes it's infuriating especially when you know the deal. You know what it is. We all do. It's BS, and then you stay contained. And I'll concur with Melissa when I talk because I've had a lot of people because of the videos, as you guys know that I do, that I'll put up, the short ones, empowering ones. They'll like them and they'll feel empowered to do their own. But a lot of times, what people will do is come to me and say, "Hey, I just found this. I want to do a video." I'm like, no. Well, what I say is, I tell people, just like Melissa does, do a video. Absolutely record a video and don't release it. Watch it the next morning because I'll tell you what, you might cringe and go, "Oh my God, thank God I didn't put that out." Our feelings very much change on a little bit of sleeping time and calming down. I tell you. I tell people to record that video. I promise. Watch it the next day. If you feel the same, release it. Do not release it when you're emotional. You will absolutely regret that. You'll embarrass yourself on some level, and you'll hurt yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah, because when we lead with emotion, we lead with a fogged sense of
Absolutely.
not only right and wrong, but a fogged sense of reality and a fogged sense of our mission. If our mission, if our true goal is legislative changes for, and whether it's an individual or as a whole, if our mission is legislative changes to stop these corrupt family court judges, family court lawyers, these family court guardian ad litem, and all of the latter, then we need to remain clear-headed, level-headed, and, that's why I'm so thankful for my husband's, our attorney, Matt. We've had him on the show. It's not a secret.
Awesome. We had him on the show with Melissa, actually, Great guy. Matt Council,
Right, so I'm not derogatory talking about this case in any way, shape, or form online, whatever of that nature. But I will say that he keeps us extremely level-headed because, there are times where I do cringe, and he's been great.
Well, so, I'll tell you what, my man, Steve, my attorney, who's an amazing guy. If you're lucky, you find someone. Steve is the type, my dude is the type that he is very calming, and he's brilliant, and it's exactly what I need, because he can handle me. He can handle me. Some people are really put off by me, and they're really emasculated by me, or he's not. He's very confident with who he is. He's not worried about me at all in terms of, hitting the man he is. He doesn't concern himself with Bambino, believe me, in terms of that. But what I'm saying is I need someone, it's just like the radio stuff. You need someone to be able to compliment you and who isn't threatened by you. And I can tell you right now, Jay is a lot of things, and threatened by me ain't one of them. He's encouraged by me just like I am with him. Same with Jesse. We're here to build each other up. And my point to that is, too, you people that are in groups or whatever it is, family, whatever, there's a big difference between people having a bad day and me being a jerk to Jay and him saying stop about it, whatever, me and apologizing, and someone who is constantly cutting you down, the people that when you're like, man, I've never had such a good day. Well, don't get too happy. Oh, wait a minute. Yo, wait a minute. And we all have that out there, and just because they have the type of mother, father, brother, it's toxicity, and you got to eliminate that and move forward. And until you clear that swamp, I guess, leave the swamp, somebody referred to the swamp quote earlier, it's that same sort of thing. It's about self-respect and being smart and contained with your emotions. Don't let your sentiment destroy you, and do what you need to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bring in one more caller for this evening here. I've got caller 9922 on the line here. Caller 9922.
Hey, Jay, Jesse, Bud, my favorite radio host. What's going on, guys?
Oh, Lily Black. Lily, how are you?
Yes, hi. Well, I have to get in here on the last bit of the show. It's been a wonderful show. I truly enjoyed all of the callers and enjoyed all of the commentary today about the march. You guys have done a fantastic job on this show. As always, I especially enjoyed it.
I'll preface this quickly by saying we started off with one of the most amazing callers at the front of the show, and we're going to end with another amazing caller to bookend it all and finish on a strong note. Thanks for calling in. Awesome. What do you got to say, my friend?
And I love Mark Ludwig, and I'm going to hopefully talk to him pretty soon because, he and I have similar platforms, goals, and agendas, and it's just time for us to make some time to touch base because we basically do the same type of work. So
it would behoove you to touch base with him. It's only going to benefit you. The guy's the most genuine man, loving man, and a very brilliant man. I mean, it's only going to benefit. There's no fluff there. There's no BS. There's no hidden anything. The man is one of the most pure men. From what I see over the past year or whatever, is one of the most pure souls consistently and genuine men that I've seen. Definitely.
Yeah. I like him a lot so far. So, because our position is always, we hear a lot about, and especially me, I get tagged a lot because I have an organization in my name specifically that says grandparents and rights and advocates in it. And so people automatically assume some things about that, but what they might not know is we actually support and have been successful in getting quite a few laws passed now in different states for I call it the whole child. To us, it is the concept of the child having the right to love both parents and extended family members whenever they're in safe and loving and bonded relationships. So, you know, there are a lot of things that as people start to come down off the march, you know, and the national, because when you're in D.C., you're thinking federal, you know what I mean? You want to,
right.
You're just automatically, you're in the nation's capital, so you're thinking federal. But there are so many things that people can do in their states that maybe they don't think about, and that's one of the things we try to help them with. And it's not just for quote-unquote grandparents, but I think I was talking to someone, and forgive me, I don't remember who it was. I think it was Andy, actually.
Right.
I'm going to get him a list. I mean, for example, our veterans and our active service members who are parents. Most states, I was successful in 2012. We got it in Indiana. That's my resident state. But we've also gotten it done in some other states, and a lot of people have worked on this. But when a service member, man or woman, so mothers and fathers are covered with this, and when they're actively deployed, alienation and different things are happening to them during their deployment. So there needed to be a law that protected their parenting time. Now, it's not a cure for alienation because that active duty person might, as an active, you know, actually designate an alienator, you know, for their parenting time. But for the most part, a lot of these service members are divorced, and they're designating their parenting time to a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, and sometimes it's a parent. But that keeps siblings together. A lot of half siblings lose contact. People don't think about that reach. So that's something. There are just a few states left, and that's something that's a pretty easy go for. You know, if you're trying to get your feet wet in legislation, who can that that's not a fantastic law? And you already have, 38 states that have it.
Right.
It's also easy to go for amendments. Getting an amendment is easier than getting a whole new law passed. So
right, and I think that, I think that you're right, and I think the confusion lies, especially with the military, generally lies between the fact of they don't, the civilian courts don't understand the UCCMJ, which when I talk about that, the Uniform Military Code of Justice, that's what they have as their laws and their bylaws. And so they have to follow those as servicemen or women. And so that's where the correlation doesn't conflict. And I think that there are a lot of attorneys out there that are very good at that. I've even taken a program with one of them out of Chicago in which to learn about the UCCMJ and how that correlates into family law. And I think that those type of people would be very helpful in helping that legislation come to fruition.
Sure. I mean, there's all kinds of things. We have, I call it the Hazel and Gretel Project, but some states already have civil visitation laws on the book. Other states do not. Excuse me. So we're going for that big way this upcoming session in Indiana. I mean, there's just so many ways and so many things that people can do for the whole child.
Yes. And I think if that's the case, you know, obviously you can, I think that you're right. I think you're going to see a lot of people that are coming down off of this extreme high, being out there at the Million Parent March, and then they're going to eventually maybe fall off that high, so to speak. It's like if you ever go to a couples retreat or something, and you're feeling all lovey-dovey and everything, and then all of a sudden you get back home and you're back down to the grind. And so what do you do during that grind? Right, exactly, and that's work at your state level, your local level. You're absolutely right. And then there's everything that you can do at the local level.
I was really happy to see some people start to pick up on the language, generational genocide. Because it doesn't just apply to CPS or this is kind of a concept that I've been presenting to a lot of the parental groups, especially the alienation groups. You know, what do you think happens to an alienated parent one day? 80% of all Americans become grandparents. And if you are fighting right now, if you're fighting for your family now and you're fighting against the right for your child to be connected to their grandparents, guess what? you're just prolonging your own fight because there's an 80% chance that you're going to be me one day or, you know, another grandparent. So why are you doubling up your work and harming your child? Let's fight for the whole child.
Right. Right, and thank you, Lily.
Yeah.
Quickly, we mentioned.
Yeah, we want to definitely say thank you. Obviously, we're getting very, very, very low on time. So
thank you.
I want to.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we seem to get down to this time very, very quickly all of the time. I'm not sure why, but we're getting the 6-minute mark, and we're down to like a minute apiece on our shout-outs. So I want to give Bud your opportunity for shout-outs.
Bang, here we go. Okay, first of all, I'm going to quickly give a shout-out to my little asbestos buddy, Mason, as I always do. Love you, my man. See you in a little bit. My biggest asbestos buddy, Carter, who, as Jay knows, one of the few I'll probably be seeing this weekend. That's the hope. And two, who I talked to a couple times this week, and I'm going to get a little bit of detail about that. So I got to give a shout-out to my wife, who I love very much, and there's a million people I'd like to say hello to, and that I love, and I love you. But I want to end with this. The people out there that are, think that it's hopeless and it's useless and it's nothing but anger. I'll tell you, one way or the other, it doesn't matter. I spoke with Carter's mother. I've spoken with her a couple times in the past week. Okay, and this is someone who I know never thought she'd be speaking to me at any sort of level of, kindness or understanding, and vice versa, probably. But it happens, and I think it's through intestinal fortitude and the work I did, and her coming to certain realizations and realizing that it is for our son. Again, I'm not perfect in this, and neither is she. But my point is, I want to be seeing my son. I believe that his mom is now trying to do the right thing. She's definitely been acting that way, and the actions have shown that. Him calling me proactively and telling me certain things that that she's telling him which are positive. So my point to that is keep up hope. I'll be hugging my son hopefully this weekend. I've talked to him a bunch of times. It's going to stay that way. Keep up hope. It can work. Keep doing it in your heart. Keep doing it right, and you can do it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. All right, Jess?
I'll be quick. I give a big shout-out to my family. Sometimes I'm very persistent, and, we stand up for what's right. Shout-out to all the parents out there fighting. Shout-out to you guys for bringing me in on this great show. And shout-out to just everybody who's out there in the movement doing it, because we are going to win, and that's it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I absolutely agree with you on that one. And I will say my shout-outs here to all the people who listened into the show tonight, our great team, Ted Fogg, amazing people out there, Peter McNeil, Brenda out there, just amazing people doing some great stuff out there, Brenda Johnson. And we absolutely love you. We care about you. Understand this, as we leave tonight on this note, some of you will be listening, if you are on the radio, you will be listening to So Alive by Goo Goo Dolls. And those who are online, you will get a special sneak peek at the live video, our little commercial, so to speak, of one. So you'll get to see that. Ted will actually roll that for you. And so we want to definitely tell you, yes. Yeah, real quickly,
I want to say quickly, this show is on other sources, YouTube, all over the place, Twitter. You can go see it anywhere. Thank you, guys.
Yes.
And thank you also to everybody listening. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for being on the show tonight, to everyone who was on, but we're out of time. So you are important, you are loved, and you are cared about.
Yeah. What's wrong, guys? Chins up.
I'm going to play that one more time for you guys since it was off center.